Welcome back, everybody. We're going to talk about using AI for this project. Now I'm going to use an example of Copilot, but I've also used ChatGPT. Probably works better if you've got a paid account there. So my kind of thought was you may have a Microsoft account as part of your organization, so you work there. So if you log into Copilot with that, you'll have a few more features than if you use a free account. But you can always use it with a free account as well. You don't need to log in, but you're just a bit limited into what you can do. So you sort that out, what you can do and can't do, and then we can discuss that when I arrive at 1 p.m. your time later today. So while we're using it, well, we're going to speed up the writing, get through the work quicker. It's also really good for simplifying our language. We can also use it to support localization. We've got templates for repeated tasks and, well, hopefully encourage instructional design good practice rather than best practice. But of course, your SME will be the important part of that in determining whether the stuff is good. So we're going to use some prompts and strategies to create learning and assessment materials. I suggest that as you work through it, use one performance criteria at a time. So then you can ask it to incorporate the additional information in the special notes and the range that when you're mapping. And the information it provides may be nonsense or inaccurate. I found most of the return material has been pretty good, but I haven't been able to really verify in the rapid time I had to get this done whether all my material was accurate. And that's where your SME is there, because they can provide good guidance about whether the material is accurate and then suggest how we might improve them. So we use prompts to kind of frame the AI tool to guide how we want to write. And also to simplify technical context, create context-specific examples, and structure learning and assessment plans, and enhance language for AC, SF levels. I'm going to talk about that. So I've got prompts for all these for the years, but I want to talk about this one first. In preparing this document, I didn't really have an idea whether there's a language framework that's used in Namibia. So I've been using the Australian Core Skills Framework levels, which describe various levels of complexity in reading, writing, oracy, numeracy, and learning as well. So you'll see this referred to, and what I've done here is gone roughly with level 1 to 2, because it produces a nice language level as well. So you can have a look and see this in the prompt. This prompt is a bit small for you to see, but I've reproduced it. I think that's really tiny. But let me go to the Word document instead. Here we go. Let me rub that out. Looking good. So starting prompt is kind of to try and instruct the AI by giving it, some context, saying that you're a learner and designer, and you're writing guides for units from the Namibian National Vocational Qualification for Clothing Production. We're also talking about entry-level learners. We're asking to use simple, plain English. Remember to explain any terms as required in a competency. Then we talk a little bit about the learners themselves and a bit about what the training includes. That's pretty much from the purpose of the qualification. And we've reminded the system that what we're talking about is in fact competency-based education. So learners work through specific practical skills, like whatever we've got in the whole unit. So we ask them to Then as a prompt, this is quite a big prompt, and prompts aren't normally this big, but try to set it up to get it to do this. So we want to reinforce the ready for entry level roles. Um, and then we've got some ideas for activities. So this is just to set the scene and get it thinking, and then here's the information about using plain English and using the Australian Core Skills Framework, levels 1 or 2. I'd use that, but if not, it doesn't appeal to you, or you've got your own framework in Namibia at kind of entry level, then go with that. I think that'd be probably more preferable. There we go. And then I've just given some additional instructions not to use Oxford commas, M dashes, and do use sentence case only for titles. Some of these AI tools got a bad um, habit of using the lot. So then we've got, if we want to use scenarios, provide some ideas, and then away we go. So I've got some additional prompts. And then what we might say after we do all that, do you have any questions? So I've got a unit I'm going to work on here, which is 1690 sewn press garments, just to give you an example. And we get back to the prompt. And I'm going to copy that whole prompt in. And let's see if it's got any questions for us. So here we are in Copilot. We've set up a new chat. We've logged in. And it's just copilot.microsoft.com. I'm going to paste that in, see if it's got any questions for us. Now I choose Think Deeper because it tends to give you a bit better responses. Oh, you have to paste it in as plain text. That's better. It's quite a big prompt. Let's see what it thinks. Takes a while, 30 seconds or so. So do you have questions? Okay, so it's got quite a lot of questions. This one, we're going to say yes to all, but we will give you a specific unit of competency, which is attached. Then we're going to say, as for Australian Core Skills Framework, don't mention it. And now I'm going to attach the unit of competency. I've got to remind myself which one. 1690. There's a unit. I might just say ready to work. Try to promote a bit of goodwill. And while it's doing all that, let's get back to the prompt. And first thing we're going to do is to give it another prompt about learning objectives for the whole unit. So write a brief introduction to the unit and 4 to 6 learning objectives at that level for our learner guide for the unit. They're pretty weighty, these prompts. You feel free to adapt them however you want. Review the attachment. Okay. It's kind of referring to everything. All right. So let's give it a prompt and see what it comes up with. We want the brief introduction and 4 to 6 learning objectives. Let's see what it comes up with when it looks at the unit. That's pretty big. Good language. The learning objectives look okay. But I'm going to say I don't want that stuff in bold. And I'd like it to reduce the guide down to 2 sentences. So let's tell it to do that. I'm quite happy with what it's got. Just the titles is enough. I'm going to say remove content after colons. See how it goes. That's pretty good. So we don't need that third one, do we? We don't need that. What did it start off with? We missed anything? I think I'd like it to capture that a bit better. I'm happy with the learning objectives. So what I'm going to do is copy those. So I'm going to grab them if I can. Yep. Oh, it's giving me everything. And then go back to a couple of ways you can do this. You can put it straight into your learner guide template. So you've got a space there. You've got your welcomes you're trying to get. You've got your learning outcomes. So I'm going to paste those in there. Oh, it didn't copy it. Damn. Let me try again. I'm not much lucky. Hopefully this is better. Oh, damn it. Okay, let me get rid of that one. Hey, finally. and then I can use the normal to bring it back to what we need. So it's not a bad little list. Now we'll go back and see. We've got nice verbs at the start. That's what I kind of liked about it. The other one didn't really have that. So now we're going to go back to the welcome because I've kind of been, it's kind of a constant conversation with AI. So it gave me that, which seems a bit small. We don't really need a discussion about being entry level. Where's this? It's going to get to retry with this. And we're going to say down to 3 sentences. Without reference to entry level. Now you might find it's quicker to write this, which is fine. Let's see what happens. That's a bit better. That's probably okay. You can do it as a dot point. And I'm going to edit this. And I'm going to paste it straight in. Just with the guide, just to the unit. And then you might break it up just to make it a bit easier to read. It's up to you. Or you might take it in to, you might want to make those into dot points, make them easy to read. So you do that. It's up to you. You can take it into a Word document as well. Whatever you think is going to be presented best to the learners, both, their particular needs. I might put some bullet points on that. There we go. So now we've got, you can add your own picture as well if you want to. I might talk about that when I get in. This is an image actually created by ChatGPT when I wrote the other unit. It came off quite well. But you can see we've got our welcome now. We've got our learning outcomes. And now we've got our topic 1, which is really element 1. All right. So let's ask it now to create what they'll learn and an introduction as well. Have we got a prompt for that? Doesn't look like it. So let's make one up and I'll paste it in there for you. One to 3 learning objectives is enough and a brief introduction. The topic is the element. Let's see what it comes up with. Okay. I'm just going to assume it's okay. And he's going to check, is that written? Australian Core Skills Framework, level 1 to 2, because that's what we want. You have to keep reminding us sometimes because it falls back into more complicated language. Oh, okay, so happy with that. Fair enough. I'll grab that. Go back to my storyboard. So we can paste that in. We've only brought the other stuff in. It's not a section, it's a topic. So you might have to change that or remind it. It's all about the workspace. And I'll go back and see if I can get those learning objectives. Got 3, written nicely. We'll chuck them in here. And as always, copying and paste plays havoc with your formatting. So just fix it up. There we go. So we've got introduction. And we've got a topic name. It's in content plans. Let's find that. Here's the mapping. There's the assessment. Let's go to the content. And in the content plan, it's called Plan and Prepare for Sewing. So we'll copy that and we'll put it in here. Notice it's the heading 1. The styles are up here. It's a heading 1. We can probably take that out. I'll leave that there. Okay, so we made a start. Now we go to our subtopic. So we go back to our plan. It's called Use Personal Protective Equipment. Okay, so now we're going to prompt it to give us information for this. Let's go back to our prompts for our performance criteria. Here we go. And you're going to add your element in italics there. Whoops, got to be plain text. I'll get rid of that, doesn't like those. So I've got to replace that image. So let's go and get it from the horse's mouth. Now, if you look at the mapping, so we can help you, if you go to the column, it's got a range statement as well. Let's copy that and see if we can include that in what it returns. Now, this is always a bit tricky to know how to do this. So I'm going to just make it up. How to comply with special note oh damn, plain text, I always forget. Let's see what happens. We're going to get to think deeper. Let's see how it goes. Okay, there it is. You might think that's too complicated. That's fine. This is where it's not very useful because this is not very helpful. So I'm going to say, can you rewrite but provide specific thing, specific rules in the Labour Act to protect themselves and others at work in the clothing industry? Because it's just giving me nothing. Or you could have said, how could I be compliant with it? It's up to you. There's no right or wrong with prompts. Just keep going all the way. Let's see if I can, if it gives us a better response here. Looks pretty good. Oh, okay, let's grab that and let's edit it. It's got a bit too much detail for my liking. But let's see what happens. It's about personal protective equipment. When you do this, you sometimes get these awful. So I'm going to undo that and do it bit by bit. Okay, and then we got the information about the Labour Act. I'm going to copy all that and chuck it in. I'm going to cut it off a bit because a lot to take in. Might make a bit of space there. I give a bit of space to that. I think that's okay. And there we have it. We've got activities. You may think, do I need an activity for that? Let's go back and just check the unit of competency. We haven't really discussed what the personal equipment is. So let's see if we can get some examples and then we'll be out, I think. Just missing that. Some of you might be much quicker at this than me. That's pretty good. There's quite a few there. I think it should go before. I think copied. God. You can copy it like this, but the only problem is that when you bring it in, it brings in a whole lot of gobbledygook, as you can see there. So what you've got to do if that happens, if you go to View and Navigation pane, and then choose Find and Replace with the magnifying glass, choose the gobbledygook, ask it to find it, and replace it with nothing. There's one. And we'll go to the next one because it's very annoying. Find that one. A few examples of that. Replace all with nothing. Maybe it's a Mac thing. It might not happen for you. And you can bold that if you want to put a bit of line breaks in it. I'll let you decide that. I'll get rid of that. So I'm getting a few spelling alerts. So I took out a few spaces that shouldn't have been. So you can adjust that when you do the replace. There we go. We can take that out. We can take out big words. Oh, now we've got a whole topic there. And then we might say, oh, can you consider, oops, I don't know what activity to choose. Let's ask them to retain that information. Play with your prompts because you'll find prompts that work well for you. And sometimes they're really big. It's too big. One sentence per step. Let's see if we can do it. Oh, it's going to be crazy. Okay. All right, that's not good. How about a quiz? I don't really have time in the video to play around with that one. I was on my own, I might. It's given us a few. He might only use 4 of those. So we might say, which are the 3 that relate to the unit best? And what you're trying to do there is just narrow down the questions and maybe create a bit of alignment to the unit. Oh, he doesn't really understand me. So let's tell it. No, I meant, he said it's a bit touchy. Let's see if we can come up with something there. They're all multiple choice. So you would copy those. I'll copy one, you can see that. Go back to the storyboard. There's a quiz, heading 3. And I'm going to say, and check your answers in Appendix 1. That's where you put the answers. You've got to find out the right answer too. There you got 3 options, which is good. I say it's going to be that one. And you paste the others in. Look, I might stop there because what I will say is probably a good opportunity for you to have a try. And so let me just show you where to find some things. So here's your workshop folder in OneDrive. Hopefully Robert's added you there. There's day 1. There's your units where you can open up your learner guide template and those are your details. There's your unit descriptor for adding to your chosen AI tool. There's your template for mapping if you need that as well. And this is an empty folder. The prompts, so you'll download the mapping, the learner guide template, and the unit descriptor for the unit you've been allocated. And here's the AI prompts in here that we're just looking at. So you can just copy and paste them in. All right, well, see how you go with that until I make it back at your time, 1 p.m. If you get ahead, just keep going. There's no problem. Quick game's a good game. Just spend a bit of time reviewing what you've got and filling any gaps if you don't think it quite aligns well to the unit of competency performance criteria range, if you've got it, or any special notes that have been mapped in your content section of the mapping template. All right, well, I'll see at 1. When I get there, I'm going to play a bit of a coaching role, see how you're going. I'm happy to give you some extra instruction if you need it. So have a think about what you'd like to know. We can maybe look at generating images. And yeah, good luck. I'll go back to teaching now and see you after that at my 9 p.m., your 1 p.m. All right, good luck and see you then.